There are bran cakes in the glove compartment. Oh.
Well, hello there. Hi. It's been a while. I know it's been a very long time since I've done this. It's been a whole year, in fact, since I've done this, and a lot has changed. And there's a lot of stuff that I left out, away from YouTube, and probably away from a lot of different forms of social media. There's a lot that's been going on in my life, and I need to talk about it because this is what I do. This is now what I do with these videos, and you guys, if any of you have still been watching, paying attention, following, which a lot of you have been, actually. I've noticed that there's some pretty high views on some of my videos lately, higher than usual, and I think that's just because a lot of you out there are curious and want to keep up, so here's me keeping up. I know that last year was, as I described it in my last video, titled 2023, I said that the year of 2022 was a cruel mistress, but was necessary for my growth and for my need to mature very quickly. And I think the best thing that I can describe for 2023 is out of the frying pan and into the fire. This year has been very strange. It's been hell for a lot of it. It's been a constant slog. It's been strife. It's been grief. It's been chaos. It's been easily one of the most difficult years of my entire life. But let's recap with the good stuff, because, I was really, really riding high at the end of 2022. And then going into 2023, I was still very much in a good place in my head. I was very happy with where I was at the time. I fell in love. I got married. And she's over there with her headphones on, not listening to this, which is for the best, because it's just so awkward and embarrassing. No, she's great. I love her to pieces, and I'm very happy. And I really don't know what I would have done without her in this last year. I mean, she's carried me through so much. But we got married. My wife and we got married back in March. Very, very fun. Very good time of my life. March, April. Fine. Totally fine. Started working. I worked at Target for a little while. Which was an interesting experience, to say the least. It was very, very taxing physically. I'm not a very well-off guy in terms of my physicality. I'm a bit frail. I'm a bit sickly. I've had diabetes for a while now, and I'll be honest, I haven't exactly taken the best care of myself. As a teenager, as a young adult, I really wasn't taking a lot of good care of myself when it comes to blood sugars and keeping them under control and things like that. So, my body's a little bit decrepit now, a little more aged, I think, than most 28-year-olds. So working the Target job was tough. It was, I was on the floor, so I would, basically just take these very large carts that they called U-boats, and I would move them across the store, and I would drop off stuff. There's Willow in the background, by the way. I'll get to her in a second. Wow, yeah, there's a lot that I need to talk about here, clearly. Anyway, I would take these big old U-boats, and I'd walk them across, and they would stuff these things over my head, which is not legal, by the way. Just throwing that out there. Not technically something you're supposed to do. But I didn't care. Whatever. I'm going to, do my job, not rock the boat. But, I had these boxes that were like this over my head as I'm walking down the aisles and trying not to run into customers, and just trying to do my job as quick as I can and as efficiently as I can. And it was tough for me. It was a lot of stress on my body. I was very tired. I would sleep all the time. I would eat all the time just because I was, constantly moving, constantly burning calories. So I was always tired. But yeah, I got through it. I did it to the best of my ability until I just couldn't do it anymore. And then I quit. And then I started working at another place that I'm working at now. And, it's stable. It's fine. I'm not super happy with it, but I don't hate it either. So yeah, it is what it is. I can't complain. That being said, though, I am still trying to pursue more professional fields, because they don't give me enough hours. It's not very good pay. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of dealing with customer relations, and people are jerks. And that's one thing that I've also learned this year too, is that I've always said people are jerks, but I've never had any proof. I've never had anything to back that statement up, and now I do because I worked retail this entire year, and I can confirm that people are spoiled, they're bratty, they're snotty. The general public is only finds any worth or value in you as an employee if you do what they want, right? If you give them what they want, then you're a good person. If you don't give them what they want, then you're a bad person. And I don't think people should be judged or classified like that. They shouldn't be classified under these like consumeristic capitalist terms. It's it's pretty gross. So anyway, I'm working that job now, and I'm still trying to pursue other things. Obviously, I've really been interested in the educational field. I actually have a lot of the paperwork done, which was a really long process, but I've got a lot of the paperwork done now to become a tutor. I think teaching people is one of those things that I was supposed to be here for. I really do. I think that in addition to creating, and which is something that I still do and love to do and will never quit. I will never quit. I don't care if I'm a starving artist. I will never quit. I really love creating, but I think that teaching and educating is also something that I was really put on this earth for. I really do truly believe that. I think that there's a lot of value in showing somebody something that you know that they don't. I think one of the most important things you can do for yourself is give yourself a good education. But the most important thing you can do for somebody else is help them get a good education. So I have been planning that. I've also been interested in substitute teaching, but that is a huge nightmare in terms of the process of it. It's lots of waiting. It's months of waiting. It's months of paperwork, and it's going to take a while. But it's something that I would like to do, and it is something I'm very interested in. So there's Chai. Again, I will get to them in a second. While we're talking about good news, I don't even need to bring them over here. You already know these two. If you saw my last video where I was talking about how I caught COVID-19, which is yet another thing to talk about, oh my God. Willow is now hissing at one of the outside cats. Yikes. We also have strays back there that we take care of, so she's hissing at them. Yay. Okay, I just closed the blinds because she wouldn't stop. So anyway, that was Willow. We have Willow and Chai, and those are our two kittens that we managed to have in our lives. Another good thing that happened. Yay! We found Willow again. She's actually one of the strays that we were taking care of back there. One of the female cats that lives in the neighborhood gave birth to 4 kittens, 4 beautiful babies, and we grabbed one of them, and she's back there. And then the other 3 we're still taking care of. We feed them, give them water, give them toys, and they're actually really starting to acclimate to us very, very well. They're doing great. And it's nice to have them around. The other cat we have is Chai, and we got him from an adoption center. It was a very, very, just a very crowded adoption center, not a very good place, I don't think, for kitties. Not to diss them, they do really good work. They do the absolute best they can, but there's just so many strays anymore. So many people that don't care about cats, don't care about animals in general, and it's really a shame. But the people over there do the absolute best they can. They only have a couple people working there, and they've got hundreds of cats they have to take care of. So I definitely don't blame them. But it's still not a great environment. And I found Chai. I picked him up, and I just kind of knew. I had that connection. I was like, yeah, this is, out of these hundreds of cats, this is the one. I regret it every day. No, I love him. I really do. But he's something else. He has a horrible case of pica or something, because he just chews on everything, and it drives my wife and I absolutely insane. So onwards to the not so good parts of the year. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in one of my videos. I think it was the update video before the one talking about me having COVID, which would have been back in around June-ish, I think, June or July. I don't quite remember. But I'm pretty sure that in that one I talked about the fact that my grandmother passed away, which was one of the hardest things I've ever had to experience. My grandma was my best friend. She meant a lot to me, and I really feel like in a lot of ways I took her for granted and didn't realize the impact that would have left on me. And it's kind of weird, talking about her now, because we moved everything after she passed. We waited a little while because, yuck. But we waited a couple months. We helped my mom clean this whole place out because it was really just old, it was dirty and it needed some work. So we cleaned it up a bit, and sort of as a thank you, as a family, we all kind of decided that it would be best, since we're a new couple, to move into this room, so this was originally my grandma's room, and is now mine. And, I'm basically sitting not even 3 feet away from where she passed away. And it's kind of weird talking about her in that sense. But, I think I need to get it off my chest, because it really is something that I've been carrying for the last 7 months now. And I didn't think that I was going to. I didn't think that it would be so jarring, because, she had cancer. She was struggling with it. She wasn't a spring chicken, and we knew that this was like a very possible thing that could have happened. It was a very real sort of threat. And when it did happen, I thought that I would just be more prepared for it. But I wasn't. And I'm still not. And, having a Christmas now, Christmas has come and gone now, and having a Christmas without her sucks. I mean, she's what made Christmas for me. She was the one who always did her best to, decorate things and make sure we have a tree and have a nice dinner. And, she made it really special. She spoiled me, made sure that I had all the gifts that I wanted, and it didn't matter how old I was. She bought me my bass guitar it was for my birthday, but still, like that's the kind of person she was. She would just, if I asked for it, that's it. Didn't matter what it was. And, you don't see people like that very often. Obviously it goes beyond, consumerist or, tangible goods, right? It's so much more than that. I mean, she provided a home for me. She provided a sense of comfort and warmth that nobody's ever really given. So, it's been tough. I've been very, very negative, towards everything this past year. I've been negative about my own future. I've been negative about other people. I've been nasty. I've been a jerk. I've been callous and pessimistic and just not very pleasant to be around. And it's I think the thing that hurts me the most about that is knowing that that's all that my wife has seen. She doesn't know any of the good stuff. I mean, she might suspect it's there, but she hasn't seen it. And I think that's the hardest part about all of that. But I made a promise to Granny when she passed away. I said that, I would do my best to be a happier person, because even back then I wasn't a very happy person. And I don't want to fail her. I want to keep trying. I mean, I know it's probably something that you'll never get to. I don't think anybody ever gets to a state of happiness. I think that the pursuit is what matters, right? Not the actual destination, not the finished result. I think that we find happiness in the quest for finding happiness, right? So I just need to work on myself a lot. And that's, if I ever have a New Year's resolution, I don't really do those, but New Year's resolution, that would be it. It would be to be a happier person, to be a nicer person, a more patient person, a more honest and understanding person. Now, going back to the kitten update, I would love to show you, I mentioned in that one video, the same one I'm pretty sure where I talked about my grandmother passing, I also showed you guys a couple of shots of this little tiny black kitty named Binks. And I would love to show you an update on him, but I can't, because Binks back in September passed away. We're not really sure what happened. We think he might have had FIP, which is not a super rare 1 in 10 cats have it sort of disease, but the mutation of it to the point where it becomes fatal is very rare. And that was I think that was another blow. I think after losing her and then losing Binks back to back like that, it really just did me in. It did my head in really bad. I was very, very down. I just didn't give a shit about anything anymore after that. Because it was so sudden, like we had so many plans with him. We had so many plans to watch him grow up and, become his own cat. And, that was cut short. And we didn't get that opportunity. I've sort of since come to peace with it, come to terms with it. I mean, I sort of recognize that that's just the way it is sometimes, We gave him an opportunity to have a much more comfortable life than he would have, because we found him, like I said in that last video, we found him in a bramble bush, and he was only like a week old, if that. And if my wife didn't go out there and rescue him, he would have died in that bush, and he would have never known warmth. He would have never known love. He would have never known comfort. So, the fact that we were actually able to give him those things, even though he was taken from us early, is nice, I don't know if that fully takes away the hurt. Like, it still hurts, but it kind of is what it is. Hi, Willow. Oh. But we found her around the same time as we found Binks, and she's doing great. She's getting too big to carry anymore. She's a squirmy worm, that's for sure. Are you a squirmy worm? Go play. Go play. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Life goes on, and, we have a lot of love that we have to give between these two, and we have more plans for more animals in the future for sure. We might grab another one of those strays out there. He's a black kitty. He's so cute. He's awesome. He's very fun. He's funny. He does a lot of funny things, and he's actually really, really, compared to like the rest of the strays, he's really warming up to us a whole lot. Oh, microphone bump. Yuck. Yikes. I think the one nice thing that I can remember from all of this, like looking back on everything now, is having companionship, having people there for you while you're going through these difficult times, especially with COVID. That was brutal. I didn't know it was going to be that gross. I think I had a 103 fever at one point, and it was pretty nasty. I remember just like falling asleep, freezing, like shivering. So I would bundle up instinctually, and I would take some Motrin before bed to sort of break the fever. And when I broke it, I would just be covered. Like, I'd wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning and just be drenched. Like, my blankets, my pillows. I had one pillow that was fuzzy in particular. I remember, like, I would hold on to it, and when I touched it, it literally felt like someone took a cup of water and just poured it on top of it. It was disgusting. But I made it through it. We both made it through it. Everybody in the house made it through it. Thank goodness for that. So we got lucky, that's for sure. We definitely got really lucky. I am very fortunate, at least, to not have such. I mean, I was really worried about serious consequences with the whole thing with my diabetes and everything, but I did okay. I made it out, and I'm glad. I really am glad for that. Some small miracles you got to be proud of and thankful for. And that's another thing I need to work on. I think is gratitude, right? Thankfulness. It's been a really, really bad year, but there's been good, and I need to focus on that more, I think, than the bad things that have happened to me. It's hard, when you have to go digging for good things, you kind of have to wonder, like, are there even any good things at all? But just keep digging. That's all you can do, and eventually, hopefully, you become a better person for it in the long run. But I'm really glad that I've had friends and family supporting me this year. I'm glad that I've met my wife. I'm glad that she's with me. We took a trip back in June to Universal Studios with her really close friend who lives up in Canada, Graham. He came down to visit us, and it's really been very cool to be able to get to know him really well. He's really become kind of a very integral part of our group, of our clique. And of course Sam's always been there for me, and I'm always grateful for him. As one of the, I think he's probably one of the best things that came out of my time at college. just being able to have that friendship with him and having him be supportive of me. I mean, he was literally there the night that Granny passed, and he was nothing but emotionally supportive of me, even when I didn't want to show emotion, because I have a really hard time with that. I have a hard time showing emotion in front of people. I don't like being vulnerable in front of people. I tend to just sort of like hide away and clam up, but he was there just like, it's okay, just, you can just let it out. It's fine, and it was nice to have him there for sure. Very integral to like the healing process, I think, is having people who are supportive of you. If you have that, hang on to it, please. Like, don't let go of it. Having supportive people, it's actually very rare. It's much more rare than you think. And you're very, very lucky if you have those people in your life. If you don't have those people in your life, I think the only advice that I have is just hang on, because they'll come, right? People, eventually you're going to come across somebody who is going to care enough about you that they're going to be supportive of you, and they're going to do what they can to help you during your darkest moments, if you let them. So to sum all of this up, this is definitely a really big one compared to the rest. It's because it's been such a big year. I haven't had to go through so much strife and so much like sudden growth in a long time. I mean, bear in mind, I was still doing that really stressful job at Target when Granny passed, and there was I had to take a few days off of work, about almost a week, I think it was, but then I had to go back because I still needed a job. At some point, it's just sort of like, suck it up and get over it. And there were, older women walking through Target that reminded me of her, right? There were toys that, that were sort of like classics, right? That I remember, playing with, or, her buying them for me or whatever, going to the baking section and being like, well, never going to get her cookies again. Like little stuff like that. It sucked, and it was hard, and it was really, really stressful and really painful. But I had to learn this year that life just really sucks sometimes. It just hurts. And you really only have two options, and that's give up or suck it up and keep going. Knowing that if you keep going, eventually it probably won't hurt as much as it does now. And, I'm at a point now where I'm starting to see that, I'm starting to see things sort of wind down a little bit for me. I have a little bit more hope for the future. I'm not quite as depressed. I'm not quite as angry, which is nice, because I was very much those things a couple months ago. And so it's nice to see things start to kind of mellow out and start to come into shape for me, and having to be my own person and be responsible for myself now more than ever, and now be responsible for another person, my wife right over here. I have to be responsible for her well-being as well, and we work together as a unit to figure out how we're going to move forward in the future, and that's a challenge in and of itself, right? But having to do those things, I think, has made me grown leaps and bounds. Like I know that last year I talked about, I've grown a lot and I've matured, and it's true, I did. There's no way I would have been able to do the things I did this year had I not done what I did last year. But when talking about growth and becoming a completely different person, here I am. I'm completely different, and I'll probably continue to be that way at least until I'm 30. Maybe even longer. We'll see. I don't know. But it's strange looking back on those videos and going, kid, you don't even know. Like, like you have no idea. It's going to get so much worse for you. So I go forward into 2024, very broken, very, very, very shattered, more so than any of the other years where I said that I was going into that year that way. But I also go into it with some hope. I go into it knowing that I am a stronger person now for it, and I have to, now more than ever, I have to be the person that I've always wanted to be, and be the person that I've always seen myself as, Mr. Writer, Mr. Creator Man, Mr. Teacher, Mr. Whatever. It's time. It's time for me to go and do that. And it's terrifying, but it's necessary. It's part of life. It's what it means to actually really genuinely grow up, and I'm ready to do that now way more than I was before. So thank you guys so much for always being a part of this journey. I know that some of you guys go all the way back to, 2015, 2014 in some cases, and I appreciate you. I really do. Now, if you want to keep supporting me, again, I really don't do a lot of YouTube stuff anymore. I'm still doing the streaming thing. Streaming's been going really well, actually. I should probably mention that. It's been going great. I have, several hundred followers. I get subscribers every once in a while. I get a couple subscribers here and there, which is really nice. I mean, I really appreciate all of the support that all of you, if you're watching me now and you have been on Twitch or you support me over on Twitch, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for all the support you give me. For those of you that don't know, I of course do have a Twitch streaming channel. You can check me out. It's at twitch.tv/DensNotDead. That is my handle over there. You can go and check me out. I would appreciate it if you did. It's always nice to have more support. If nothing else, it's always nice to have more people to hang out with and talk to. I've also really been taking off on Medium. I've been doing really, really well with that as well. I know I mentioned it a few times in some of my update videos, but I'm going to mention it again because I've actually earned a fair bit of money from Medium, and that was an amazing feeling, was to actually be acknowledged and paid for my writing, for creating words and actually being able to market them. It's been fantastic. So if you guys want to go and support me over there, again, I would appreciate the ever-loving heck out of it. Please go check me out over at Den Elliott on medium.com. All of my stuff is members only, so you'd have to become a member of Medium. It's $5 a month to do that, but if you follow my stories, you'll be able to support me in all those ways financially, to allow me to keep doing what I love to do, and I would really appreciate it if you could. The other thing that I have going right now is if you become a subscriber to my Twitch, you can have access to all of those without the Medium membership. All you have to do is be a subscriber, and then you have to join my Discord. And once you join my Discord, you have access to all of those free of charge. If you want to join my Discord just to join it, please feel free to do so. Again, that's going to be in the description below. I'm going to leave a link for you guys so you can check that out. I also have a TikTok where I'm working on, animations, drawings, videos, poetry, things like that. You can check all that out over there at Den's Not Dead as well. So if you want to go check me out over there, I'd really appreciate it. And of course, Instagram, which I've had for years. Again, the handle, making it nice and simple for you guys, is at Den's Not Dead. Please go check that out. I would appreciate it. I really would. And again, the Instagram is very much like TikTok in that regards. I'm still posting a lot of pictures and drawings and poetry and all that creative stuff. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate all of you more than you'll ever know. It's been a very crazy ride, especially in the last couple years, but I'm getting through it, and I hope you guys are too. I hope that you had a very safe, happy holiday. I hope you have a great new year, and hopefully I'll be around next year to do another one of these. I'm pretty sure I will, and I hope you guys will be around too.